Kappei has just released Arc 8 Chapter 24, and this video will be a summary of the chapter. Anyways, let's begin. Subaru calls out to Speaker. Speaker and Rem were crying. Subaru then heard a mutter and turned around. We see it was from Ram that made the noise. Ram asks where the name came from, and Subaru says that it's a star from his hometown. Ram asks if Subaru knows what he's doing by using an archbishop for a greater purpose, and Subaru says he thought about it, but he truly doesn't really know and he can't really talk about it. Ram hears this and says that then maybe if you don't know how to talk about it, maybe you shouldn't talk. Tanza also approaches Subaru and states that even though Schwartz-sama took Cecilis with him, he shouldn't have taken an archbishop. Subaru then says he will bear the burden. Ram says no matter what Rem and Subaru say, she won't forgive Subaru. Rem tries to say something in return, however Ram interrupts her and says that Rem is kind as a sister. But she reiterates that the only reason why she hasn't killed Speaker is due to the fact that Rem's memories may have been lost if she dies. Speaker then gets asked if she can return Rem's name and memories, however she simply shakes her head. To do this, she would need to master the power of gluttony. With that, Subaru says he will believe in Speaker, and Speaker nods. The hearts of Speaker and Louis Arneb do not overlap, despite them looking the exact same. The scene changes. We see Garfiel and Otto talking. Despite Garfiel looking rough, he's pretty sensitive on the inside. Otto says it's fine, but Garfiel doesn't back down. We see that Otto's hand is bloody and bruised and broken. We see that Otto punched the carriage wall at the exact same height that Subaru is. The wall is dented. Otto says that he should have hit Subaru for his actions. Despite that, Garfiel heals his hand. Otto and Garfiel waited in this room as Subaru went off to settle the situation with Louis. Of course, Otto wants to eliminate Louis at all costs. But despite that, they joined forces with her, and she never showed any malice. Not only that, Otto possesses the blessing which allows him to communicate with animals. However, it can also allow Otto to speak to babies. Whilst they cannot speak in words, they can speak in emotions and intentions. Likewise, Otto uses his divine blessing to read Louis's feelings, and he can tell that she holds absolutely no malice towards Dim and holds very positive feelings for Subaru and Rem. And this is something Otto has kept to himself. As long as there was a doubt that Louis could be up to something, then Louis could be kept at a distance. Otto knows that Emilia and the rest would grow soft if they knew that Louis held no malice objectively, and so that's the reason why he kept it to himself. We see Anastasia and Julius enter, and Garfiel positions himself slightly in front of Otto, not because of Anastasia, but because of Julius. In the absence of Garfiel and Otto, Julius and Anastasia went with Emilia to the Ugria sand dunes. Otto then states that despite Emilia and the rest, Otto knows that they are enemies. Anastasia praises Otto for that statement, saying if he wasn't like that, she would lose interest in him. Julius then apologizes for his actions during the discussions of Louis. Julius states that he involved himself since he was a victim of gluttony, and as a result he deprived Otto of his role in the Emilia camp, despite being simply an outsider. So Julius bows and apologizes to Otto. Now, for those wondering, Otto's role in the Emilia camp is to sort of, make things work, and of course Otto was against Subaru's forgiveness plan of Louis. However, before Otto could jump into the reasons why Subaru shouldn't be doing the things he should be doing, Julius jumped in before him, and they got into a bit of an argument. Otto tells Julius that it's fine, but states at the end of the day Julius is an enemy. They cannot cross swords, nor is Julius a merchant. but they are enemies. He continues stating that should the actions of gluttony be released to the public, then it's Wallachia that will bear the blame. Anastasia continues from Otto's speech, saying that regardless of Subaru's determinism or Emilia's kindness, there is an unshakable truth in the world. With that, Otto says he will leave. Garfiel tries to follow, but Otto dissuades him. Garfiel understands that Otto wants to be left alone. Garfiel assessed the situation. During the Lewis argument, Julius and Otto had a disagreement. Now Julius apologized, and Otto left the room. However, Garfiel understands that the reason why Otto left wasn't because his role was taken by Julius, who spoke up during the argument. It was for a different reason. Garfiel understands why they're so similar. Is because Julius is simply like Emilia and Subaru. He is idealistic and believes in the good of people. He understands reality, and he isn't ignorant like Subaru. However, he is also someone who walks in the light. With that, the scene changes, and we see Otto attempt to punch the wall again, the same hand that was shattered before. However, a hand stops him. Otto tells the man to let go, and the man says that he's been healed by Garfiel's magic, so shattering his hand again would be a bad idea. The man was Roswaal. Otto didn't really want to speak to Roswaal, but Roswaal was here trying to provoke him. Roswaal was present during the discussion where Otto had an outburst against his sort of hardline treatment towards Lewis. Roswaal says that he's here because he's thinking of Otto, and Otto is shocked. Otto feels like Roswaal is simply trying to harass him from a new angle. Roswaal says that Otto is doing good enough. However, he shouldn't really try anymore, because what Subaru and Emilia decide will come to pass. Otto asks what Roswaal is talking about. After all, if that was the case, then Emilia would be king. But that obviously isn't the case. Otto asks if Roswaal is mocking him, Subaru, or even Emilia, and Roswaal says that he isn't, but he is giving Otto advice. Roswaal states that it's a poison that will eat away at him if he disagrees with Subaru and Emilia's path. However, Otto states that he cannot take Roswaal's advice. Otto knows that he is in the way, but states that he believes that Roswaal is up to something. However, Otto says that he won't throw away everything he stands for. After all, it's his role to do this. Not only that, he states that Roswaal's claim that Emilia and Subaru's path will come true if they wish for it is also a farce, because it's due to the help of everyone involved that they can succeed. However, if Subaru said something and Otto simply became a yes man, like Roswaal is suggesting to him, then Otto wouldn't be able to do everything that Subaru wants. After all, he might be put in a situation where he simply cannot fulfill that role anymore. For example, people like Frederica, Petra, or Rem, they all have roles to fulfill. So if Otto became a yes man, what would his role become if he cannot fulfill his duties? What happens if Subaru wants something that is unattainable? Otto knows that Roswaal essentially came to coerce Otto to being like him, essentially a yes man, to rearrange the board in a way more favourable to Roswaal. After all, Roswaal is someone who cannot walk in the light. However, by Roswaal's rash actions to come to Otto when he's vulnerable, he actually forced Otto to the opposite conclusion. So instead of Otto being a yes man, he's now actually going to fight for his ideals and go against Subaru and Emilia, where he feels like it's more prudent. Petra arrives and distracts Otto and Roswaal. Petra then tells Otto that she slapped Subaru on his behalf. Petra says that she heard that Otto wanted to hit Subaru, but didn't because he was a small child, so Petra did it herself. Otto finds this funny, and the pressure on him has been released. But still, there's one thing he cannot agree to, and that is Subaru's idea that Lewis can be redeemed. Because, after all, Otto refuses to work with the Sin Archbishop. That is his essential truth. Otto will not give in. Petra then holds out her hand and Otto clasps it and tells her thank you. Petra, with a crack of light in her smile, says you're welcome. And with that, the chapter ends. So essentially, long story short, Otto has a role to fulfill in his camp. In the camp, usually he sets things up so that things go smoothly for Emilia and Subaru. However, in the sort of discussion that we had a few chapters ago, Julius jumped in, which essentially took away Otto's role of being against Subaru and Emilia. So it's like his role was taken from him. And again, we go back into this idea of what is Otto's role in the Emilia camp. And essentially what is being discussed is Roswaal essentially wanted to, we'll say, make Otto become a yes man. So when Subaru says, I want Lewis to be on our camp, our Emilia camp, Otto should just say yes, because that's what Roswaal is doing. Roswaal is just letting Subaru do it whatever he wants because he knows Subaru has returned by death. Of course, Otto doesn't know that, but Roswaal does. So Roswaal is just saying, don't go against what Emilia wants or Subaru wants, just let them do whatever. And Otto was saying, if I did that, then what if Subaru wanted, I don't know, to make Emilia king, right? I mean, to be fair, that's not unattainable, but what if Subaru wants something like that's really unattainable? Then I wouldn't be able to do that because I don't have that power. So by Roswaal forcing the issue, he actually flipped Otto to make the opposite choice. So instead of Otto becoming the yes man, he's actually, his convictions are more built in its foundations. So essentially he's going to go against Subaru, essentially. So even though others like Emilia and so on and so forth might forgive Lewis and whatever, Otto it won't. He's most likely going to confront Subaru.